And welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the deferred sales trust and building wealth like a shark, are the best ways for you to grow your wealth. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swartz. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best wealth, financial, real estate, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. Hey, I'm excited about our next two guests today. In fact, I'm joined by Barry Spencer and Kevin Harrington. Guys, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing fantastic. Great to be with you, Brett.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on the show. Yeah, and so they are coming out, or have come out with a book called Build Wealth Like a Shark. And it's really an interesting time to consider all of these different things that are going on in the world. And so we're going to dive right in. But for those who don't quite know you, Barry, would you share a little bit more about your story and your focus? And then we'll let Kevin dive in as well on a little bit of what's going on with the book.
Yeah, absolutely, Brett. Yeah, I'm a co-creator of Wealth with No Regrets, which began and started back when the financial advisors my dad had hired didn't do their job, and helped my family successfully transition wealth to my mother when my father passed away of cancer at 62 years old. And so stepped into the place with my business partner to audit everything and find tax opportunities that were missed. And in the course of that, found other ways to help other people. And that was the creation of Wealth with No Regrets, and then creating opportunities for sharing resources and materials that can help people benefit in this area to sort fact from fiction. And that's why I joined up with Kevin Harrington and Build Wealth Like a Shark. So thanks, Kevin, for that.
Amazing. Thanks, Barry. And so, Kevin, for you, what was the vision for the book, and what's been the most rewarding part of working with Barry, and what are you hoping audiences will be able to glean from the book?
So thank you very much. And by the way, maybe for those that don't know all about my background, just maybe take 30 seconds to do that. Way back in the early 80s, I was watching television and found a channel. Discovery Channel was an 18-hour-a-day channel. It went dark for 6 hours a day. I tied up that time, started putting products on there, and this is now almost 40 years. I've been selling products, building businesses using unsold media all around the world, and had a couple public companies and that along the way. So and then I worked with some amazing people: Jack LaLanne, the Juicer, George Foreman, Billy Mays, Tony Little, 50 Cent in his headphones, the Kardashians, the Hiltons. Had a lot of fun with all that kind of stuff. And then I got a call to be on Shark Tank. And so that's where the title Build Wealth Like a Shark comes from. I had a number of seasons on Shark Tank and a lot of fun, but I am not a sophisticated financial guy. Okay. I started as an entrepreneur, 11 years old, working in my dad's bars, and 15 years old, started my first business. And I was good at knocking on doors and selling things in the early days. And then when I got into this as seen on TV business, I took my sales skills and molded them into selling on television. So we created very powerful messaging through systems and tech and really following formulas. And so in a 30-minute infomercial, people would watch it and say, oh, that was pretty cool. Well, we had 3 10-minute pods with very sophisticated technologies occurring through there, with call to actions every 8 minutes and testimonials and, this and that. So that was my skill set. I created businesses and public companies that did billions of dollars in sales and made some money in the process as I took some chips off the table and sold my equities along the way. But when I got involved with Barry, this was when I had a chance to learn from some of the top guys. I mean, yes, I've been investing now for 30 plus years and have developed some of my own ideas and formulas. But when it comes to like capital gains and exercising certain really kind of like some special special ways to save money, et cetera, it's Barry Spencer who came to the table and brought some great advice. And he's part of the book, and we've had a lot of fun together. Plus, he also is a Lightning fan. I think I'm a Tampa Stanley Cup Lightning guy now. So I got it when Barry's nice to me about my team. I got to be always open to being a partner with him in different things. So,
well, you've got Steve Yzerman. I'm a Detroit guy that has Steve Yzerman, and so it's a love relationship there. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to be with you both, Kevin and Barry, and I appreciate you sharing that background. And I think that's you say it well, right, Kevin? Finding a dream team, right, and finding those who are A players and who can complement what you're doing to build your business, to build. And I like to say it's not only just about cash flow; it's about tax flow, right? And so I love that Barry has that approach and that focus, and for so many years, and so. Well, can we dive into a couple of the concepts, Kevin, and what was it about how you're building your business? What's the best, I guess, secret of the book to help people build wealth like a shark?
Well, for me, I like to get involved in ventures that are in the earlier stages, right? I like to look at investments. I mean, I'll give you an example of some things I'm doing right now. So here's a company. I sit on boards and help companies gain value. So here's a company that I got involved with. It's a company called Celsius. It's an energy drink. And 18 months ago, this company, the stock was trading at about $4 a share. It had hundreds of millions of dollars in value, and we're in a lot of stores, but we weren't happy with the multiple. We were trading on an 8-time multiple on sales. So and that's what the market, the Monsters, the Red Bulls, were trading in a similar fashion. Sales times 8 gave the market value. But Celsius was a huge, fast growth company that was doubling sales on a quarterly basis. So it didn't make sense for this to be trading at an 8-time multiple. So as we were able to communicate with the marketplace and change the multiple, the stock has now gone to over $60, and it's trading on a multiple of 20 times sales. Why? Because the market realized we showed the market that we had the ability to accelerate sales, go direct to the consumer. During COVID, our sales were just going through the roof, and we went from number 9 on Amazon. We were the number 9 energy drink behind Red Bull and Monster and Bang and all that. Well, we went to number 2, ahead of Red Bull, ahead of Bang, and these were things that helped the market understand this acceleration and then the multiple. And so, like right now, I'm negotiating with the company to join the board. They've got it's a $100 million a year in sales company, but they're trading at $100 million market value. Okay, unbelievable 1-to-1. They're in an industry that trades at more like an 8-time multiple. So there's issues, there's reasons why that's there, but I see this as a company that is way undervalued and potentially has great opportunity. So valuations are one of the things that I focus on.
Very good, Kevin. So Barry, and now when you're looking at that from your perspective, right, and you're saying, okay, how do I help Kevin or folks like Kevin, create a plan that just in case they bought it for $4 a share, they're selling for 60, right? And so talk about us on the tax flow and the strategy to build wealth on your side.
Yeah, and I think that's something that someone misses. I mean, Kevin is an absolute expert genius when it comes to building businesses and launching them and taking them from here to here. And then they put this amount of money in, and then they grow the business and have this much money in the business. And then they figure out, how do I unlock the capital in that business? That's always the challenge for the folks that we work with. And there's over 73,000 pages of tax code. And in that tax code are landmines and also gold mines. And so what we like to do is look at it and say, based on your situation and your overall structure, what you need to see happen and how you want to take your business to the next phase and how you want to capture the value out of that business, what can we use from that tax code where there's gold mines to unlock that potential and capital in the most tax efficient way. Because when you think about it really this way, that the money that you're paying capital gain tax on is money you've already paid tax on, because you're putting after-tax dollars into an investment. You've already paid tax on it. So it's like the government is double taxing you on your own money. So I've always heard people say that I want to pay my fair share, but never more than my fair share. So my question always is, if you've already paid tax, why should you pay it again? And if there's ways in the 73,000 page tax code for you to unlock the gold mines in there, wouldn't you want to do that? And what I find most of the time is most people don't look to an expert. If I'm going to launch an energy drink business or anything like that, Kevin's an expert. If you're going to unlock capital in your business, in your wealth, you should find someone to help you unlock it. Why would you try to do it on your own?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And Kevin, speak to specialization and help how you built your wealth by building a dream team like a Barry Spencer, right? Maybe give us another analogy and when did it really click for you that, look, I can't do this alone. Like, I've really got to lean on industry experts, and then also touch on what you're looking for in those folks.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, for example, I lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in Philadelphia, and we had big issues with taxes, city taxes, state, et cetera. So now I live in Florida. So there are some obvious situations in where you live, and then how you record incomes. And so I deal with capital gain situations every year, for many of them. And so having in my world, I say that I need the best of the best. As an entrepreneur, when I first started, I was a little ego driven and thought, okay, I can make the sales. That's the important thing. But I didn't realize, like, I needed a good CFO. In fact, we were dealing at one time, we were actually collecting sales revenues in about 35 different countries. Our own operations in London and Germany and Holland and in literally the Middle East, in Latin America. We had offices in Japan. So we had to employ some very smart people, and one of them was a money analyst that traded currencies and hedged them for us, because we were dealing in so many currencies, because we could make profits, but if we didn't hedge, we were in trouble. So you could lose all your profits with the money currency disruptions. So I learned, I mean, I had a full-time guy on my staff that did nothing but hedge currencies. And so this is part of my dream team. Barry is a guy that deals with the tax situations. And I mean, like you say, you got to pay what you got to pay what you owe, but you don't have to pay more than you owe, right? And right. So when you're looking through the thousands and 70-some thousand pages, that's not what I can do. That's what Barry does, and that's why I look for experts like Barry to give me good advice like that.
And absolutely, and Brett, you make a great point, and Kevin accentuates that by saying that he brought a CFO to his business. And one of the things that people don't realize is when you get to a few $1 million, whether you're managing $2 million, $20 million, $200 million, a lot of these people just kind of try to go it on their own and be their own CFO. Well, the smart business guy brings in a CFO, the CFO who sees the situation different than they do. And a lot of times that is exactly how people see us. Smart executives, smart business owners bring us in as their personal CFO that runs their multi-million-dollar personal business, right? If I have assets that I now own, that's my personal property, that is your multi-million-dollar personal business that you run. So would you ever run a private business without a CFO? No, you would run that with a CFO. You're smarter, saves you money, makes you more efficient. Just like Kevin, they find needles in a haystack, right? If it's hedge currency or whatever the case is, there's those opportunities in your personal business as well. So when you start to see your wealth and your retirement as personal wealth and a personal business, you should have a CFO that knows what they're doing to make that happen for you.
I couldn't agree more. It's almost like there's a blind spot sometimes for us entrepreneurs, right? I mean, you wouldn't even consider running an apartment complex that has, 50 units without like a property manager, an on-site property manager. But for some reason, yeah, either the ego or we're so close to it, we can't see outside the bottle that we're inside of, and but getting out of your own way, right? Hiring the who, not being the how. It's like, hi, my name is Brett. I'm a controlaholic. Like I need to exercise that every day. So Kevin, what's been the best way for you to exercise that, right? Being so successful and being, so passionate about what you do, what's been the best way for your mindset to do that on like a, daily basis?
Yeah. So in the old days, I would hire what I could afford, meaning what our sales were and the size of the business. But what I didn't realize, because we were growing and we had $100 million business going to 500 million. So you don't hire somebody that you can afford at that $100 million level because that's their experience. I wanted somebody, and this was good advice because you want the best of the best. Somebody that maybe has run $1 billion business is what you should be looking at that point. Certainly somebody if you're looking and you're going to be we knew because we saw our quarterly growth was crushing it and we were opening in new markets. So these were add-on sales. We knew we were going to be at 500 million. We needed to hire people that had the skill sets to run billion-dollar companies, not 50 to $100 million companies. And I can tell you horror stories of people that we had in places that because we could afford them, they were costing us 10 times their salary in mistakes. And so I go for the best that I can get, and they're gonna bring more value, more savings, more experience to the table, and it's way better that way.
Yeah, it's so clear when you put it that way, right? I wouldn't hire someone to do my brain surgery, right? If they've never done brain surgery, right? It might have been my general practitioner, and they may have done a good job there. But if I'm looking to go to 1 billion, I need the person who's already been there and has taken companies to 1 billion, has that experience. Is that a fair summary, Kevin?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, Barry, anything out of that?
Yeah, and I would say I think it's really smart what Kevin said. I mean, it's just brilliant that most people don't get in, and I feel like they get stuck in this dichotomy: cost or value. And what Kevin was saying, in early days, you make decisions based on cost, and when you start to make a decision based on cost, you miss out on the value creation that someone who's smarter, wiser, more experienced can provide. And whether it's true in the business of hiring that CFO or in your personal business of hiring someone that really knows what they're doing, income, investing, tax, legacy, charitable giving, and the like, when you have someone that can put all those things together, you're adding value to your situation. And that is not a cost, it's a value. It's a multiplier, right? It's a multiplier effect that has exponential results for you, and that's value. Think about value, not cost. That's a big mindset shift that makes everything better for folks.
Excellent. Kevin, anything to add to that? And then we'll remind people where they can find the book, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree. I mean, I even we've talked about CFOs. I can talk about, I've got 3 full-time lawyers that are part of my team. Now, these lawyers I bring them into the deals. They get a piece of the deals. I don't get bills from any one of these 3 guys. Like, I'm not paying hourly. I'm like, you guys are smart in your respective areas. One of them is a franchise guy, one of them is a money raising guy, and another is a deal guy. And so, I want them all to get chips to take off the table along with me as we do these deals, because they're protecting all of our interests, and it creates a camaraderie type situation. So if I think of how I started 40 years ago, when I wasn't willing to hire the right people, pay them decent salaries, because I said, I'm not making real money yet. But it doesn't matter if if you're growing the business, you have to get the right people and in the right place. So that's why I like to incentivize the folks that are part of my team to participate in the upside also, and that keeps my costs in line, and my downside very, very minimal because I got people that are participating in the upside. And so, and as far as the book goes, Barry, you've got the place to send them. Let's get some folks taking a look at our book.
Yeah, I mean, wealthwithnoregrets.com, get you a signed copy. We're really trying to provide some real value that people can use in their real situation, and ultimately point them to someone that can be of value to them, that's smart, that's successful, that knows what they're doing. And we're here to help people do that. And so they're not having to recreate the wheel or guess. And when you're dealing with money, you don't want to guess.
Perfect. Well, hey, Barry and Kevin, more than a pleasure to have you on. Everyone go to wealthwithnoregrets.com. Check out the book, Build Wealth Like a Shark. And I want to thank you guys for both being on the show and giving back to the community, sharing, building businesses, helping your teams. I encourage you to keep being an inspiration for all of us. And I also want to thank our listeners for listening to the episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. We're also streaming on expertcresecrets.com, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the deferred sales trust, is a great way for you to sell highly appreciated public stock, private stock, cryptocurrency, a business, primary home. You can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more about that. We so appreciate you guys watching this in YouTube land and on listening to iTunes. Please rate, review, subscribe.